Welcome to the Pen to Publish podcast with your hosts, Alexa Whitten, author, typesetter, and independent publisher, and
Alexa Tewkesbury, author, editor, and proofreader.
Welcome to episode 1 of the Pen to Publish podcast. Before we get started, obviously we've got the same names as each other, and interestingly, one of our customers, who is actually going to be one of our interviewees at the end of this series, coined the terms Alexa 1 and Alexa 2. I'm Alexa 2 and Alexa Tewkesbury is Alexa 1. So you might find us referring to us in those terms, and hopefully you'll get to recognize our voices as we go through. But anyway, this is going to be an introduction to what this podcast is all about, the exploration between getting an idea for a book and then actually getting the book published and being able to sell it. Now, we're going to quickly introduce ourselves in this episode and also tell you what's going to be coming up. So I'm Alexa Whitten, author, typesetter, cover designer, and independent publisher. And I've been doing this job now for about 12 years. And I started up the Book Refinery 8 years ago when I kind of had to, really, because people were needing some help with being able to get their books written in a way that they could then sell their books to their clients. And there weren't that many people out there who were able to offer a one-stop service. So that's how the Book Refinery got born. Now, I'm going to hand you over to Alexa Tewkesbury, and she's going to briefly explain what she does and then how we work together as well. So Alexa, over to you.
Well, I'm Alexa Tewkesbury, as Alexa 2 has said. I'm a professional member of the Chartered Institute of Editing and Proofreading, and I trained in proofreading with the Publishing Training Centre, and I've been running my editorial business now for about 15 years. Alexa 2 and I have been working together on and off for the last probably 3 years or so, with projects ranging from children's books to quite in-depth business books. So there's been a lot of variety. And the way we work is that Alexa 2 will contact me with a manuscript from an author that needs editing. I'll then work my way through the edit, and when it's complete, I return it to her to pass on to the author so they can see and approve or not the work that's been done. And Alexa 2 then designs the book into page proofs, so basically into book form as a PDF file. And she'll then send that file to me, and I will then proofread it to make sure I've ironed out, as much as possible.
Sorry to interrupt, Alexa. How did we start working together? Can you remember the project where we started working together?
Project we started working together on was a great little book called, ready? Farty McFartpan.
That's right.
It was a picture book, yes, with amazing pictures, with a lot of little bursts of green smoke coming from the relevant part of the little guy's body.
They were very farty. No, it was a great book. That's right. I remember. And I believe it's available on Amazon as well. So that'll be available in the show notes. Oh, I forgot to mention, actually, at the end of each episode, if appropriate, if there's been any discussion of interest for people, there'll be show notes at the end where there'll be links to either books that we've discussed or extra notes that might be useful to people if we've discussed something that's been quite in depth. But anyway, sorry, Alexa, I did interrupt.
No.
Carry on, because I think you're going to be talking about what's coming up in the series, aren't you?
Yes. So we're going to actually talk about what the editing and proofreading process involves and why it's important in series 2. But we just thought it would be helpful to give you an overview of who we are and our complementary roles in helping to make you into an author. Mm-hmm. So I've mentioned there's going to be a series 2. We've mapped this podcast out over 4 series, each one focusing on a different aspect of the writing and self-publishing process. So it's important for you, if you're a new writer, to listen and understand all the steps. That way you can see what the journey is in front of you and exactly where you're heading with it. So series 1 will be talking about knowing your audience, the writing process, building writing into your day as a habit, understanding what works within the different age groups when you're writing for, say, children. We'll be touching on the dreaded writer's block and ways to help overcome that. And importantly, we'll discuss the format for producing your manuscript. So, we can't really have stuff written on the back of paper towels. It has to be done so typed, basically.
Yes.
Then in series 2, as I've said, we'll go into detail about the editing process. So what does it mean? Where do you go to find an editor? What do you need to think about to find someone who will be a really good fit for your project? And then in that, we'll cover proofreading as well. What the proofreading actually does, this final polish to produce a professional manuscript. Then in series 3, we'll get down to the nitty-gritty of actually producing your physical book. So this is very much Alexa Tew's domain. It'll be about getting the right typeface, what's appropriate for the subject matter, layout, different formats for different types of books, and crucially, cover creation and design. That's so important because the cover that's the window to your book. It's the first thing a potential reader will see, whether they're even going to pick it up or not. Do they actually want to look inside this book? The cover is so important. It has to be right. And then series 4 is going to be all about marketing. So developing a plan to get you and your book really noticed. And this is one reason why knowing your audience, which we're going to talk about in this series, is so important. And then in addition to that, in each series, we're going to chat to an author that we've worked with so that you'll be able to get the inside story on what it feels like to actually submit your manuscript, to know that somebody is reading it, possibly for the first time, to have it edited. What's that like to have someone go in and mess with your text, and then discussing how you want the design to be, and getting all the information from a book designer. As Alexa Tew has said, there'll also be some show notes, some downloads and links to things that you might find useful.
I mean, that's pretty comprehensive. I mean, I don't think really we've left anything out. It's going to be about between 10 to 15 minutes per listen. So easily listenable while you're getting up in the morning, or if you're going for a walk, or, when lockdown is lifted, the commute again. So hopefully you'll find that everything that we've discussed and that we're covering is going to be super useful. But it is really important, I think, that you need to listen to the whole process. Unless you've already got your book written and it's been edited, you then obviously might find that just jumping straight to the typesetting is the most valuable for you. But I think most listeners, if they start at the beginning and listen to the entire series, they're going to gain so much from it, especially the author interviews. I do think they're going to be of a huge insight to people if you've never been on this journey before. So you need to see the whole picture, I think, to be able to get the best out of what we're going to be sharing with you. So I think that's everything for episode 1. We've covered who we are, and on the show notes for this particular episode, we'll also put in our contact details of where you can find us. Alexa and me are both on LinkedIn, for instance, and we're on social media. So we'll give you those links where you can come and find us. And also do please tell people and share this with your networking group, and tag us in any social media that you're going to be doing if you are going to be sharing this with anybody. So I think if you just want to give us a quick little synopsis as to what that's going to be, and then we'll leave you in peace for you to get on with your day.
Yes, so next week we'll start at the very beginning. So all about the who, it's all about your target audience. So before you put pen to paper or fingers to your keyboard, you need to know who you're writing for, who you're directing this to. Otherwise your book is going to miss the spot. As I mentioned briefly, if you're writing for children, you need to know exactly which age group. If you're writing for business, you need to have the tone exactly right for the kind of business community that you're aiming for. And if you're writing fiction in general, you need to know your genre. So
we'll be telling you exactly how to do that and how to identify and why it's critical to identify as well. So that's coming up. Anyway, so that's the first episode done and dusted, and we will be seeing you next week for our episode 2. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.